All right, and welcome to the Best in Slot podcast, a Warcraft podcast by the community for the community. I'm your main host, Sparty, and my co-host Midgettes is here as well. This is episode 14. Today we'll be talking about the data mines coming out of Battle for Azeroth and a really great viewer question. We've got a nice little short episode, and how are you today, Midgettes?
I feel like I've been running all week, but that's neither here nor there. It doesn't stop people from sending in great questions, and it's awesome because it gives us something to talk about except you and me arguing about things.
Well, to have good decisions, there should be good discourse, of course.
Oh, is that what it is? It's usually Discord. Anyway. And by the way, when Discord breaks, Midgettes can't fix it. I don't need 50 people whispering me that it's down. Thanks.
I was under the impression that Discord is the best voice client of all time, and it never crashes, and it's super reliable, and it has the best quality compared to everything out there. Was that not
and
right?
Then right after that happened, then Mumble crashed. So let's not go there.
Oh well, just saying it's probably a little bit more reliable. Anyway, so. It's 7.3.5, right? We had our patch a week or two ago now. We did have issues, this patch with a lot of add-on things breaking and things exploding everywhere, but things have more or less settled down, right? I opened up my guild bank, my mobile guild bank today, and the colors were restored. So are things sort of back to normal now at this point?
They are, and I'll tell you what, if you use DBM, he has a great blog out on how to fix the sound issues. Number 3 worked the best for me, and it actually put everything back where it belonged, and the sounds work fine. Oh. And I'm very, very happy it brought back all of my add-on sounds. So it's in our your stream, and it's under the VEM command, and it gives you the tools to fix it. And I liked number 3.
I saw that. Thank you.
Changes the sound channels to 128 is what it does.
Ah, very nice. And I know you mentioned you were really excited about this last time, the Call of the Scarab event, right? That's over now?
We won.
That's right, we won in your face, Horde. In your friggin' face.
I think it's because we talked about it. We won.
I will, you're right. I think this podcast should take full credit for the Alliance winning. We have motivated people through our voices and what we said, and they went out there and farmed the crap out of whatever there was meant to farm. And I'll be honest, I didn't have a lot of time to go to Call of the Scarab, but everyone else was motivated enough to do it on my behalf. So thank you, Alliance. Thank you. Suck it, Horde. We won this year. In your face.
That's right, which means our banners are out in Silithus for the whole year. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
But in more exciting news, Warcraft devs are bringing out another Q&A, and this one's for BFA, which, by the way, in case you guys have missed it, that's Battle for the Alliance. Thank you.
Battle for Azeroth, right? We can sort of be 50-50. But does that mean
that beta is coming? Do you know?
I may or may not know. I don't know, but I would tell you that I don't know if I did know. So I don't know if beta's coming.
Well, that was a circular discussion. What did you just tell me?
So Sparty does not have beta keys. Like I don't. People need to stop asking me, stop tweeting me for beta keys, stop asking me in game. I don't have beta keys. But if I did have beta keys, I would also say I don't have beta keys. So, maybe listen to our next week's podcast.
Well, rumor has it that Happy has beta keys. I saw everybody asking him in our channel.
Yeah, the way to get beta keys is if you send Happy a left shark. He may send you a key in return. Not sure if it'll be a beta key, but it'll be a key of some sort.
How to break our new officer. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Well, from that though, there's all of this stuff coming out, and I went and played on MMO Champion today where they showed the alpha build, and I was looking at all of the pictures and all of this stuff. There's all kinds of exciting stuff. I'm still confused though. Everybody gets so excited at this point. I'm sort of like, well, I'm going to wait until it's real and I can play with it. But there's a reason to be involved.
That's right. I mean, there's so many new things coming out in terms of stat squish and new mounts, and there's a dog you can ride, and there's so much cool stuff being data mined, right? Yeah, on the one hand, we're sort of spoiling ourselves, but it's also really cool to see what we can look forward to, right? More so than the typical Blizzard hype train, there is also our own hype of, oh, those class changes are really awesome, that mount is really awesome, those achievements look really cool. but at the same time, things are very much subject to change. It's still sort of alpha level at this point. It's not, beta level yet. But again, it's a lot of excitement being generated at this point, which is amazing. And like we said a couple episodes ago, this expansion is probably a little bit further along than we had anticipated, which is amazing. I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
Well, the best part is the new pets. But, we had the lost mail, and I sent one out to Panzer, and I sent one out to Aelid, and they both stalled. So we need to get them motivated so that we can share them with the rest of the guild. So I'm blaming them because they're still sitting in their bags. So go get that lost mail quest.
We do have one of our awesome, players here, Sev, one of our guildies. There's bees. There's bee mounts, or there's bees, and people are excited about these bees. They can't wait about them. So I'm guessing there will be a Warcraft Q&A question about the bees.
I can't wait to hear it. And how do we get to the questions out to the Warcraft devs?
So one of the best ways, I think they have a forum post that they're going to be going through. Typically, it is lore or CM lore that does it. Otherwise, you would tweet them with the hashtag Warcraft QA or Q&A. I'm not sure of the exact syntax.
It's QA.
Perfect. Warcraft QA. They've sort of already answered some questions through Twitter. I think I saw Muffinus or Jeremy Fiesel or whoever. One of the questions was, can you transmog Anduin's brand new armor? And the answer was no. So my question was, but why? I would love that armor.
I liked your question. It was very good. Did you get a response?
No, of course not. Of course not.
I hate it when they don't answer me. Maybe that's because the answer was no.
Well, that's probably why. I'm not a 2-year-old asking why, but why? Why can't I have it?
But why? You're teaching the baby Ashbringer.
Well, speaking of dad stuff, I do have an awesome joke, and I think we're gonna start off with the segment here. Whether we lose viewers or gain viewers because of this awesome joke, I will give Sev credit.
We're gonna lose viewers, and I don't want to lose viewers. I like viewers. No jokes.
Are you ready for this joke?
No.
I'm guessing somebody listens to this podcast right now, and they're doing their morning run or something, and after they listen to this joke, they're going to trip and fall over and blame me. It's going to happen. So
I can see it now.
A man was admitted for a horse cough. They found 8 plastic horses inside his stomach. He is now stable. Get it? Stable?
I get it. It's awful. You said this was Sev's joke?
It was awesome. I love these kind of jokes. Listen, you know what?
No. Seb, boo, Seb.
I'm going to open this up to our viewers as a new awesome thing. I've heard a lot of jokes out there. I have not heard this one. It was hilarious. If you guys have awesome dad jokes to send me, please. I love jokes. I share them on Twitter. I share them, to my colleagues, all my friends. Send me an email, bestsinstallpodcast@gmail.com, and I would love to, hear your awesome jokes or tweet them towards me, obviously.
And hope that I don't get to the mail first and delete them. Just saying. But
moving on.
Move on.
Well, let's move on to.
We have a question. You're moving too fast, and you forgot something. One of our viewers is asking, how do you feel about the current numbers being data mined on the classes? And do you feel they're a bit lower than expected? And what class do you think is going to feel this squish the most at Sparty Smallwood? And we still have to talk about the talent calculator. You're moving too fast.
Oh, yes. So how do we feel about some of the numbers being data mined? It's still early on. There's going to be many iterations. Let's say, lay hands got nerfed to the ground, or hand of sacrifice or blessing of sacrifice now only, protects 10%. It gives you 10% damage reduction. Those numbers are still going to be tweaked. It's still super, super early on. But the good news is those players, giving the feedback, this is where your input really, really matters. And the theory crafters, which may not necessarily be mythic raiders, this is where their sort of math really, really helps. It's still early on. Wait for change. It's going to happen. The stat squish is coming again, which I think is great because we're tired of millions and billions of numbers. Let's see numbers squished across the board, which is great. And I don't know. We'll see. What class is going to see it the most? Who knows? It might be changed the week before the expansion, and we'll not know.
Well, and that brings up the thing of being involved. We, the community, if we're communicating. Wow, there's that word again. I've used it a lot this week. But if we're communicating and sharing our thoughts with the developers, It really does help. And I saw that Wowhead put out a new BFA talent calculator. Have you played with it yet?
No, I mean it's been a very busy week, but I plan on playing around a little bit here. I know they were last time I looked at it, they were including some of the artifacts. So artifacts are going away, right, in the next expansion. They're including some of the artifact abilities into the new talent trees, which is exciting. It should be some fun stuff going on.
I hope they keep my cloak. I need that cloak.
The get out of jail free card. Stay alive cloak.
It's called my FM cloak, and you all can figure out what the FM means, because I'm not saying it.
I'll keep thinking about it. It's really late. I'll keep thinking.
You'll keep thinking? Okay. Well, you can't say it out loud either.
Field Marshal cloak? Anyway, moving on.
Field Marshal, first midget, who knows? Anyway, but we have other good news. Death Jesters did get Agrimar down. Congratulations on being 10 of 11 mythic. Now what?
Yay! I mean, that was really overdue. I think I don't know, had 80, 90 pulls, at least by my count. I don't know. We had it, 50, 30 pulls ago. We were super close. We had like a 0.4% wipe one night, and it was just getting right back to it, right? So it sucks, loses my rankings, but at the end of the day, I'm enjoying the people that I play the game with, and that's really what's important, right? Whether, we're killing a boss a week or two later, not the end of the world. We still have tons of time on Argus. We're going to be farming Argus and those, hideous mounts, looking for that red scythe as well for some people. So, I mean,
you already got it,
to go.
didn't you? Didn't we tweet?
Yeah, I have a blue scythe, but apparently the mythic one has a red scythe for the other transmog players.
Oh dear. Well, are you an Asmongold, racing for that? You gonna tweet him again if you beat him?
I don't know. Maybe if I beat him to a red scythe, he might send me like a Wendy's meal or something.
Yeah, he'll probably send you a left shark, because that's where the left sharks are supposed to go.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. Congratulations. I still have to get the highlight up of that kill. It was a great kill. It was fun to watch. It was a super, super smooth kill. I was so proud of everybody. Great communication. I think we had one death on that kill, which, hurt our execution ranking, but it was so well done, as if it was a farm kill. It was, everyone did a great job. Did we ever figure out the onk issue we were having, or was that just a 7.3.5 bug that we're all thrilled with?
It was 7.3.5 bug. I believe we fixed it just through typing the actual cast out, and I don't know. We figured it out some way.
Well, at least you guys adapted and figured out a workaround.
That's right.
That's the difference. You can just get mad, or you can adapt.
Mm-hmm.
But we did have a really great letter that came in, and I want to talk about it because we had this gentleman from a guild on, I believe, Sargeras, and he asked that we not share his name. He is talking about how this group of them have been raiding together for a long time, 3 or 4 years, and how they have gone ahead, and some of them have gotten much better at the game, and some are just sort of coasting along, and everybody's going forward. And what's happened is as a leader, he's having to make the decisions of where to go with the team and whatnot. And because of that, he asked us, what do you do when either a player outgrows their raid team, which I think we're going to cover first, and then secondly, what happens when a raid team outgrows some of their players? And I thought they were really interesting discussions because people's priorities change. They're not in game as much. I mean, you can even speak to that with you being out more with the baby. So let's start with on an individual level and jump into keys to a kill. Rating advice from the experts. So what happens when you outgrow your team? You really like them, but they are content doing normal and heroic, and you want to push mythic. Now what?
It's a pretty common question that's came up on our stream a number of times. Hey, I'm doing really well. I'm topping the meters. All that other stuff that comes out. I'm the best healer on the team. The best DPSer. All my parses are on the orange. But my players, my teammates are not keeping up, right? It's a very common theme. but I've built great relationships with these guys. They're a great community and I love hanging out with them. And some of them are super casual and that's fine. But I want to go kill mythic bosses. I want to go get, cutting edge Argus. But I know these guys will never be able to do that. These guys are likely going to finish the expansion, 6 out of 11, and that'll be fine for them. But I want more. I want more, and I've got this passion. Well, what do you do in that situation? We're all paying our $15 a month for whatever it is, right? For whether it's RPing or pet battling or raiding or PvP or just hanging out with your friends. And if your desires, you have that passion to go kill dragons and do all that stuff, well, maybe that's what you need to do. And I've always told my viewers this, that if you really need to do something like that, go do it, right? And the question always comes back, well, what about my friends? What's going to happen with them? Well, listen, we have cross-realm raiding. We have alts as well, right? The team that you go look to raid with now, right? They may be new friends, right? Those are just friends you haven't met yet. They may raid at a different time. You could potentially raid with both guilds, right? If you want to raid so much, stay with your community. But cross-realm raiding is available there. Running alts is fine as well. You could do both. But at the end of the day, those friends and those relationships you've built with, their friends are going to be your friends, right? Like, I've had people move on from the guild and, now they're in a top 40 world guild and, your friends are still your friends. We still keep in touch here. They're either in the stream or they're in our forums because they, they made that rank and they, they built those relationships with us. So I encourage people to, to follow their dreams, right? Don't let your dreams be dreams, as Sheila LaBeouf said. But go out and chase them and there's nothing stopping you, right? You have to go try. Right? You have to try. You miss all the shots you don't take. Just earlier today, I was doing a 17 IFS Shara, and the tank accidentally pulled the boss, and we had a whole pack of crabs as well, so we gave the boss a bolstering +2 at an IF-17, the Serpentrix. And I'm like, listen, let's just do it. Who cares, right? It took a little bit longer to kill, but otherwise we would have wiped. And it was really cool. I thought, we might have wiped or we were going to wipe, but we pulled it off. It was super smooth, right? You have to try things. Don't be afraid of trying. Don't let things hold you back, right? You need to take a risk, a leap of faith sometimes. I moved across Canada, to be with my girlfriend and things like this too. You need to take a chance, and at the end of the day, your friends will be your friends, right? My friends are still here in Stream Chat supporting me, despite me moving 4,000 kilometers away.
Well, and it was wonderful to see Cylon. Hi, Cylon. But the thing is that you have to sit there and evaluate what you really want to do. Mm-hmm. Is it playing with your friends more, or if it's progressing? And sometimes it's more frustrating to play with your friends when you want to compete at a higher level.
That's right.
And I know that we're going to sort of segue into the second part of this. As a leader, you have to sit down and make some of those tough decisions. I've raided with Joe for, the past 5 years, and he's just not keeping up. But you have to sort of pulse where your team is, because maybe your team doesn't want to progress Mythic, and you've got, let's say you have half of the team that's wanting to go Mythic, and we've encountered this in Zeros to Heroes with some of our teams when they first started out, because they all started out sort of normal and heroic, and then some of them moved up to Mythic, and some of those groups really had to figure out what they were going to do. So let's cover 2 steps. Let's start with, how do you make those decisions as a team that's grown and played together for 2, 3, 5 years, as to where you go next?
So this type of issue typically comes in those guilds that have tried to recruit a bunch of people, may not have thrown in as much mentorship. For some, there's varying skill gaps, right? You're sort of bordering, well, are we a casual guild? Are we a raiding guild? Are we like a family guild? That's the biggest paradigm shift there. It's either we're a raiding guild or we're a family guild. We can't be both. Well, you absolutely can be both, but you really need to examine the team's goal and visions, right? What are your goals at the end of every single tier, at the end of every single expansion? Is it US top 50 or 100 or EU top 300? Or is it just to kill all the bosses? Whatever your goals are, they're all totally fine. There's no right or wrong goals here. With a lot of the Zeros to Heroes teams, for some of them, yeah, they want to go, top 200 US or top 20 on the server, whatever it is. right? So you need to make sure those goals are still relevant to your team. We all get older, right? We all have more responsibilities. Are those goals still the same from, when you were 10 years younger? Maybe, maybe not, right? Those guilds do evolve, right? It's a constant shifting struggle to keep up with what's going on. Um, you know, if those teams' visions and those goals are not the same, well, what changes need to be made, right? The last thing I want to advocate is, people splitting off, right? This guild or this group wants to do this, and this group wants to do this, and they all form their own guilds, right? It's not never a nice situation. But you need to decide what you want to do as a guild, right? Whether it's some people are retiring or some people, pushing even harder, recruiting some more people to replace the ones that are not, pulling their weight or have plateaued in terms of skill level, right? Because that happens often. People will, get really good, and then at some point that skill level plateaus, and maybe the rest of the skill level of the guild is a little bit higher, or they have more time to dedicate to raiding, right? Again, sometimes it's time to retire, sometimes it's time to keep pushing and do what you can to survive. So you try to keep up, you try to do your best, and at the end of the day, right, it's sort of you find a leadership decision, right? A lot of these guilds are based around a hierarchical structure where the guild leader is at the top, and you have your officers and your veterans and your members and whatever else. But at the end of the day, you get everybody's feedback of, well, what does everybody want to do, right? I've got some veterans that want to do this, some members that want to raid, other members are like, well, I'm not going to get any better. I was still just enjoying raiding with my other players and my friends. Ultimately, it always comes down to the guild leader, right? Every single time. It's the success and failure of your guild is always on your shoulders. So whatever decisions you make, right, could be right, wrong. I mean, I think they're always the right decisions in the end, but it always rests on your shoulders. My one piece of advice when you're in a situation like this is don't be plagued by inaction, right? By that lack of decision making. Make a decision, stick with it, and go. Always go with your gut.
Well, and that gut is really powerful. And the thing is, and I think we probably saw it more in Legion than we have others, because there's a lot of people that just enjoy raiding. I was talking to one of the raiders today, and he was talking to me about he just wants to get on and raid. And when Death Jesters first made their change from 4 days to 3 days, he was like, I don't like this. He was really bummed. He said, but I'm in my senior year and I'm really glad now. Mm-hmm. And he comes to find out that he likes the 3 days more. But it's about discussing it with your team, and you're never, ever going to have a full consensus with your team. So you have to make a decision based on what is best for the team. And sometimes they're not easy decisions, especially if you've played with Joe for 6 years. I mean, we're still bringing you, Sparty. That's what I hear.
Wait, like I'm dead weight here? What are you saying here?
I don't know. It's Tally's guild, so
I should probably have a chat with Tally and hope you'll keep me in the guild for a little bit longer through Battle for Azeroth.
Exactly. No, I'm kidding you. But you probably experienced it a little more this tier just because you had a lot of things going on, and a new baby, as anybody with a baby knows, takes a lot of time and takes all of your sleep. So how did you deal with that coming in? Because you were missing. See, the hardest thing I have as being a backup is when I come into the raid, they've got 50 or 100 or 200 pulls on me, and so it's like all of the mistakes that I would make with them are more magnified because I've come in 50 pulls later.
So let me tell you a quick little anecdote and story. So when my baby was born, we also closed on our house pretty much the exact same week. It was being painted. I was moving stuff in. We were staying at our in-laws during this first week of baby being born, which was fine. But at the same time, I had my computer here in our new place. So what did I have to do, or what did I choose to do rather? I chose to drive 20 minutes from the in-laws over to here, play, this game, play my computer game, or, hang out with my friends and do this raid or obligation or whatever it was, or be there for the team, and then drive back to be with the baby and my wife, right? That's what I did. That's how I managed it. And it was, people must be like, what the hell is this guy thinking, right? Or my wife is absolutely amazing, and I don't know how she's put up with me this long. I asked one of our old officers, Ofajev, because he was in the same situation for a while, and I asked, hey, I remember when your kids were born, right? His kids are now like 7 or 8 now. And I'm like, at what point did you retire from raiding in general? And he's like, yeah, probably around, your time when the kid was like 1 or so, or even earlier. And he's like, I'm surprised you're even going as long as you are now, because with how, how thinly stretched I am sometimes, it's very tough to manage. But it's tough. Like it's tough to manage all that stuff and do what you can and ensure that the multiple raid teams are running successfully and the guild's still whole, and you put in all that effort, and you want to make sure your team doesn't fall apart and it continues on long term.
Well, and this is an interesting comment. Disparaging Turtle just said, when I was a GM, I used to pull dissenters into a private chat to talk and explain my reasoning for the decision. If they left the guild over it, fine, but 90% of the time, the person felt better after the talk. When I stepped down as GM, the new GM was sure to keep up that practice. And I think that's something we've learned, is we need to talk more.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, communication, right? We always stress communication within our guilds. That's what we tell, as officers, we tell our veterans, which are the team leads of Zeros to Heroes, to just communicate. Say everything, anything and everything. The more you communicate, the better, right? And just because, again, going back to the 7 day, 6 day, we used to raid 7 days a week, and then 6 days and 5 days and 4 days and now 3 days. And every time I would tell these guys, okay, tell me what you think here. I would go to all of the players. What would be your thoughts of, if we drop down a day? And we had this discussion last expansion or whenever it was, or I think it was this expansion when we dropped down to 3 days. We want to sort of, get a pulse check on everybody and ensure they're sort of on the same page. Or really, we're also checking our numbers, right? We're checking our boxes of, okay, well, if I asked Midgettes here, hey, what are your thoughts of dropping down from 4 days to 3 days? And she says, well, you know what? I really want to push rankings. I want to raid 4 days a week, and I've got, a ton of time because I don't have anything else to do. Well, maybe I'm going to lose Midgettes because she wants to raid and I want to go down to 3 days. So we sort of get that pulse check with everybody and then make that decision. If if we have to lose Midgettes and she's the one player we lose, well, is that worth it? Maybe not. And that's, again, the guild leader's decision, right? We've listened to Midgettes.
Well, but I got to tell you, if you lose Midgettes, you're going to miss out on all of those to-do lists.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
What are you saying? You're going to get in trouble.
Oh, I'm glad I'm going on vacation tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. I need a break.
Yep, I'm excited.
Okay, but it is about communication. And talking about communication, we actually had, and I believe Mr. Grimm's came to you, and you sent him to me.
That's right.
And he said, I had a good idea and brought it up to Sparty, and he said, talk to you about it. Thanks, by the way.
You're welcome.
But I listened to a lot to his podcast and Coach's Corner, and with the expansion coming out and seeing a lot of discords popping up, like the recruitment discord, I was thinking it would be great to come up with a Coach's Corner discord where GMs and officers could join and help each other out with choices and decisions they are faced with making a new guild or roster issues. It would be a great way to promote the Discord for Sparty, as well as bring in more questions for him to use for Coach's Corner and our podcast as well. He said he would be opposed to helping and going on that. I just thought we'd toss that out and talk about it and see what our viewers think.
I mean, in practice or in theory, it is an amazing idea, right? To have all these collective minds of GMs and officers and veterans in this very general Discord. Awesome. I mean, you can't really limit it to just GMs. And well, how do you prove you're a GM going to Discord? Logistics are a pain in the butt to manage. You sort of have to babysit some people and make sure it's well moderated, unlike some of the other Discords out there, and make sure that it's representative of what you want, right? Like I miss the old EJ forums, right? Those things were moderated to hell. If you had poor grammatical mistakes, if you had dumb questions, you were timed out, you were banned, that was it, right? And that was a really good discussion.
I remember they were. You were afraid to ask a question on EJ. I'm not sure we want to go quite that far.
I'm old school. I miss them. Like I miss them, and it wasn't just an answer of go sim it. It was, well, let's talk about these numbers and see how we got to, that end point. It was really good discussion and a really good theory crafting, and it was amazing. And obviously, a lot of the EJ theory crafters are now working for Blizzard on the dev team. But I mean, anyway, back to this Discord idea. It's a good one. Do I have the time to manage it? I'm not sure. I think we need to look at it. Do we have the bandwidth to help run something like this? Perhaps, perhaps not. I mean, already, running Death Jesters and Zeros to Heroes is one full-time job in itself, right? So,
Well,
yeah.
I know that's for true. I think it's a great idea, but I keep in mind that when it comes to ideas, I think it took Aloria started it. I think it took us 3 years or better to get you to Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not seeing fast things, but I do think it's a good idea that we should think about. And that brings us to that we really want to, get our listeners and the people that are in our guilds to always send us suggestions, because we can at least talk about them, and you can go no, because you say no a lot. Poor Evelyn. I feel so sorry for her. She's going to hear no a lot.
No, she only hears yes. I don't understand. My 1.5-year-old daughter, she only hears yes.
That's why she says no all the time, right?
From her mom, I'm sure.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, before we close out, because I think we're getting ready to end our discussion, I hear you're going on vacation, and I want you to know I'm so relieved, because I needed one.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm flying out to Kona tomorrow morning. I still need to pack. My suitcases are actually right behind me. Need to help finish packing, doing laundry and that kind of stuff right after this podcast. We're going to Kona, the big island, which is where we always go, and it'll be our little one's first trip, to Hawaii, I guess. She's been on an airplane a couple times, and we're flying with the in-laws, which should be fun to give us a bit of a break as well sometimes. But I'm excited to get her in the ocean, get her swimming, get some hikes, and maybe see some animals, which she loves. So it's exciting. I'm grateful for this vacation.
So what do you do when you're on vacation? Because I think I talk to you more from vacation than I do when you're here.
So funniest thing about that, I actually get a lot of work done when I'm on vacation. It sounds really counterintuitive and really silly, but I get a ton of work done, whether it be blog or podcast stuff or guild stuff or actual work stuff. I sit by the beach, because the place we're staying is about 30 feet from the beach. I get my laptop out, it's calm, I've got a coffee, a delicious Kona coffee, and I just type away. I get so much done. Obviously, won't with little one around, but that's it. I mean, I work. I get stuff done, and that's a vacation for me. Yeah, I'll read my books, and I'll go on little trips, and I'll go in the water, and that's fine. But again, a big part of my life is Warcraft. It is everything I do here. So to have a little bit of time away from actual work to focus on my other passions like this is always really great.
That's too funny. I'm pretty sure that the blog, the last one that we have on there, was the last time you were at Hawaii. Do me a favor, however, let's not have that swimming thing that happened the last time you were out there. Oh yeah,
no, I swam out too far. I clearly getting old and didn't know my own endurance, and I definitely struggled out there in open water for a while as I had to paddle back slowly. So that wasn't a fun time.
No, it wasn't. But do you take many vacations?
No, I mean, I had a bit of a Christmas vacation, but I don't really ever take vacations. I had one when I got married, and I don't know. I mean, there's very rarely a time where I'm not away from Warcraft, or sorry, I'm not near Warcraft, right? It's usually logging in, checking on things, even if it's just saying hello to people, right? Like that's my daily dose of Warcraft, and checking on how things are going, or checking on our forums, or checking on the Discord now and saying hello to people, right? And continuing to have those connections, that is super important.
Well, I seem to recall I had to get your best man to take away your cell phone because you wouldn't leave us alone. Would you go get married?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to go for my own health.
For your own health, right? I'm surprised Dries hasn't just hit you in the back of the head with a hammer or something. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, who do you leave in charge, sort of, because you're never really gone?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. Hopefully, when you go on vacation, you've built a strong enough leadership team that are there to support you. And again, those officers should always be an extension of you, right? Having some of your strengths and weaknesses and going from there, but they should be, strong enough to lead the guild in your absence for a week or two. Even if I was, not able to log in or not near any computers or anything like that for a week, things should be fine for a week or two or however long I'm gone. I check in things frequently, not because I don't trust them, but because I like checking on things, and I again, want to make sure those connections are there. Obviously, I'm sure you'll be running the show with Zeros to Heroes. I'm sure Tally will be leading the guild in Death Jesters, and things will be just perfect. That being said, though,
perfect. Keep him away from my bank.
That being said, though, there is always, every time I go on vacation for the past 12 years, there is always one person that leaves the guild, whether it's an applicant or whatever. It's that time Sparty is away, now's the time to run. So, I don't think there's been a time. Well, just so you know,
in my real life job, every time my boss, the owner of the company, takes a vacation, our company vehicle breaks down.
Fun. That is super fun.
Actually, the last time he left, it got stolen. So, it's not just you.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm not the only one that has, little curses like that, right? Don't go on vacation ever.
Well, we probably ought to let you go get packing, because you probably have to get up early, and of course you're doing it at the last minute like you do everything else, right?
More or less, but I mean, it gets done, right? Somehow it always works out.
It always does. So what are we going to... I think we started another conversation, and we put it on Facebook, and somebody was asking about it, and it's also on Twitter, that came from a comment about new people in the community. And I think maybe next week when you get back, we might touch on that. We're also looking at... we do want to get the Ask Mr. Robot article out there.
Yeah.
Yes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So next couple of weeks, as I'm sure I'll get a lot of work done on vacation, we have ideas for this whole question of being a noob and the whole stigma being attached to those. And we have Zupercat will hopefully be joining us on one of our podcasts. She had a very contentious article regarding Discords and the state of them and them policing themselves. And I thought it was well written. The statistics and all that other stuff is part of it, but I'm excited. It's something I'm very passionate about. Community and toxicity in the community and all that other stuff. So hopefully, in the next coming weeks, we should have some really, really juicy topics for everybody to discuss.
We absolutely will, and it is contentious because as soon as you brought it up, about half the people that we were talking about it with said, "Yeah, I read it. I didn't agree with it." So it'll be a fun topic. How we're buddy birds and let's go ahead and get you packing before Driaz comes after me.
That's right. Well, thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys next week. So we will not have a show, obviously, this Sunday as I'm gone. I don't plan on podcasting from Hawaii. We'll see you guys in about a week and a half for our next couple episodes. Again, follow us on Twitter, on Facebook. Send us your questions, ideas, all of that stuff, or buddy birds and nominations to bestandslotpodcast@gmail.com. And otherwise, we'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for listening.